Good morning. Good morning. Would like to welcome you to the campus of Lipscomb University and our late summer edition of the Nashville Business Breakfast. We're grateful and glad that you're here with us this morning. We're going to start just a few minutes early. Sorry to interrupt your visiting with each other, but we've got a pretty packed agenda, and we want to make sure and respect everyone's time. But we're looking forward to this morning. You know, one of the reasons I think I enjoy so much having the opportunity to just be a part of this gathering each quarter when our business community gathers together is, I think in some way, every time we get together for the Nashville Business Breakfast, we are celebrating success. And we hear from members of our community each time we come together, and they share their stories. And it may be a story of leadership in an industry that puts Nashville, or that has put Nashville on the map, or it may be a story of entrepreneurial spirit that somehow takes something very small and makes it something very big. It may be a story of integrity or teamwork, of financial success or organizational spirit, but it's always a story of success. And we have so many of those here to celebrate here in Nashville. And this morning we celebrate the platform that success is built on, the platform that launches so many in this room, so many good things that happen in our community. And we celebrate the amazing leadership of this great community. As we begin this morning, I want to call your attention to just a couple of things that you'll note in your program. First of all, a very special event on August 7th, if you'll look at one of the inserts in your program, honoring Congressional Medal of Honor recipients who will be here for a town hall forum. I encourage you to take a look at that event and join us here on the campus of Lipscomb if you can on August the 7th. That's a week from Friday. A couple other things, groups that I'd like to recognize as we begin this morning. Over the years, the College of Business here at Lipscomb University has had the privilege of partnering with many of you in this room in a variety of ways. And today, some of Nashville's leading businesses and organizations are working with Lipscomb through a program called Directed Work Experience. So you'll see, I think in your chair, there was also a list of those participants in that program with the College of Business. Through those of you that serve as partners in this program, students in our Masters of Management program here at Lipscomb are actively working or engaged in over 20 companies in Middle Tennessee while pursuing their master's degree. So for those of you with the companies, those of you who are students and are involved in the Directed Work Experience program, we want to recognize you this morning. If you're a student or one of the companies involved in that program, would you please stand and let us just say thank you for being a part of that program. And Lipscomb University is also very grateful for its partnership with the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce, which, among other things, allows Lipscomb to help recognize young leaders in the business community, in one of those ways through the Nashville Emerging Leader Awards. This week, the finalists will gather together for the Nashville Emerging Leader Awards and be recognized. And as I understand it, several of the finalists for NELAs are here with us this morning. If you are a NELA finalist, will you please stand as well? Let us congratulate you. NELA finalists, please stand. Thank you. And congratulations. And when we get together and we talk about partnership for this university, certainly the partnership with the Nashville Business Journal is something that has been a blessing as we have been together in this program for many years now. And so as we continue, I would ask you to please join me in welcoming Lipscomb's partner in this event, the Nashville Business Journal's Kate Herman. Kate?
Thanks, Bob. Well, good morning. Nice to see you all here this morning. And we have been a partner of Lipscomb's for many years now, doing this quarterly breakfast, and are pleased to be here again this morning. I just really want to take a moment, though, to thank all of the Lipscomb team. I think you'll notice as you came in this morning, from the greeters in the parking area to the elevators, they do a wonderful job. So thank you to them, right down to planning the event. And I'm also pleased to introduce you this morning to the sponsors of today's program. We have two sponsors, Crow Horwath, and I'd like to introduce you to Dwayne Dillard, who's audit partner. And thank you for being here this morning, Dwayne.
Thanks, Kate. Good morning. Welcome to the Nashville Business Breakfast. It's always a privilege and an honor to be here as a sponsor, and we always look forward to this event. Crow Horwath is a top 10 public accounting and consulting firm with over 3,000 personnel nationwide, providing audit, tax, and consulting services for clients in a variety of industries. I would like to recognize one of my partners this morning, Marty Luter over here at Table 8. Marty was recently named one of the power leaders in accounting by the Nashville Business Journal. So congrats to Marty. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the program.
Thanks, Dwayne. And next, I'd like to introduce you to Chuck Denny, who I know will just bound up here this morning because he's full of energy. Regional President of Kentucky and Tennessee for PNC Bank. Chuck, thanks so much for being here.
Good morning, and life's all about choices, and congratulations on the great choices you made today to be here. Where else in America are 1,000 people networking at this hour of the morning? And it's always fun to be a part of this wonderful celebration. I can't say enough about our partnership with Kate Herman and the NBJ and her whole team, and also with Dr. Randy Lowry and Lipscomb University too. Great community citizens, leaders in our community, and what we get a chance to be here today to honor one of the best mayors in America, and Mayor Dean, and this great leadership platform we have today. Special shout out to my guests and my colleagues who are here from different parts of the country. PNC is the 5th largest bank in the country, and we're very blessed to be part of the Nashville community. So thank you very much. Enjoy the morning.
Thanks again to both of our sponsors, and enjoy the program this morning.
Well, good morning to all of you, and thank you for getting up early to join us for this very, very special morning. I often get before crowds and I say, I'm delighted to be here, and most of the time that's true. Today it's especially true. My youngest daughter went into labor about 8 hours ago, and I've checked at the hospital. I won't reveal the dilation and all of that to you. But we got a little time here, and I think we're going to get this breakfast in and then run down to St. Thomas and have a joyful moment in our family. So thank you for putting up with my nervousness as I am trying to be here and be a good grandfather to be. We appreciate you coming once again to Lipscomb University, and to this moment in the summer where a university is really a very different place in the summer. It used to be that, and I'm sure your perception is, we just close down in May and open back up in September, and not much happens in between. And for some faculty who can still pull it off, that might be true. But for most of the rest of the university, it's an extraordinarily busy time because we have about 92 days to do all we're going to do before students come back and join us once again. You probably noticed as you drove down Belmont a brand new science building that will be done in next January, but you may not have noticed a number of things. One of them, we just finished our program with 102 Teach for America students that have come from all over the United States and are now, after this intensive time at Lipscomb this summer, on their way to the metro schools to contribute to the quality of education here. You may not have noticed the site preparation for what the board has recently approved as a brand new building for our College of Engineering. Let me ask you this. How many of you have ever heard that Lipscomb has a College of Engineering? Well, that's so much better than I thought. Thank you. The reality is this is one of those things I didn't know was here when I became president. But we are completely accredited in 3 different engineering fields, and last year we literally beat every single university in the state of Tennessee on the engineering exam for our graduates, except Vanderbilt, and we were within about a point of them. So for a brand new college, that was an amazing show. You may not have noticed the Nashville Symphony was here this summer, but I hope that a number of you were here as they played outside and brought that moment back where they played here regularly during the flood a number of years ago. But more important than the things and more important than the programs are the people. And we've had something happen in the last few weeks here that has never happened in the history of this university before. And it's an event that I could not have imagined. But we actually had one of our faculty who, while being a part of this university, actually became the First Lady of another higher education institution. That is Phyllis Hildreth, who is the academic director of our Institute for Conflict Management, a lawyer, a colleague, a wonderful Lipscomb team member for the last several years. And she is now the First Lady of Meharry Medical College. So would you welcome the only First Lady we have besides my wife, Phyllis Hildreth. And would you welcome her husband, who will lead us in our invocation this morning. We are so thrilled with what Meharry does, the soul of that institution, the spirit of service of that institution. It is a critical part of this community, and we are so pleased that Dr. James Hildreth has accepted the presidency of that school. He's into his 28th day as he looks forward to leadership that will take that school forward, serving all of us and serving the larger community as well. To lead us in our invocation, would you please welcome Dr. James Hildreth.
Good morning. I'd like to thank President Lowry for the invitation to be here to speak with you and deliver the invocation. I would also like to acknowledge that there are some of my board members present and other friends of the college who've been helpful to us over the years, so thank you all very much for that. And I'd also like to acknowledge my scholar and wife who's been such a big part of my life over these years, Phyllis Hildreth. It's great to be back in Nashville and to see that the city continues to grow and become one of the best cities in the nation. I was here when Mr. Dean was first elected mayor in 2007. And it's great to see how the city has evolved under his leadership. As a health professional, I'm particularly grateful to his focus on initiatives and other things that have a focus on health and wellness. So Mayor Dean, on behalf of Meharry and Meharians, thank you for all that you've done for this great city. I'm also proud to be back as president of Meharry, which is a truly historic institution with a focus on training people to go out and take care of the underserved and to take care of people who have nowhere else to go. Like all other academic health centers, our medical school faces great challenges, but we're up to those challenges, and I look forward to leading the institution into the future. When I was preparing for these remarks, I was struck by some parallels between the stories of Meharry and Lipscomb. Of course, you all know the salt wagon story, that in the 1820s, 2 young teenagers driving their salt wagon down from Kentucky, the wagon broke down and some recently freed slaves offered them shelter and comfort, and the next morning they helped them on their way. And in 1876, they provided the funds to allow the founding of our institution. You may not know that David Lipscomb, who I believe is responsible for this great university, in 1873, 3 years before the founding of Meharry, there was a cholera outbreak in Nashville that started in the prison and quickly spread through the city. And before it was over, 1,000 citizens of Nashville out of the 25,000 total were dead, black and white. Mr. Lipscomb was indignant that so many other people fled the city, those of means, and did not stay and take care of the afflicted. he stayed and used his considerable resources to take care of the sick and the dying. In fact, Mr. Lipscomb himself tended to some of the sick and dying individuals with his own hands. And he wrote an article in 1873 that I'd like to share the ending of it with you. He said, "Those who did quietly and calmly do their duty, although in the midst of pestilence, want, and death, found these to be the happiest days of their lives, days to which they can always look back with a feeling of true satisfaction. We trust we may all learn that Christian men and women must be possessed of a true and calm courage, that they must be able to face death and find true happiness here, as well as the crown of joy hereafter in doing their duties in all circumstances." The theme of grace runs through the stories of Meharry and Lipscomb like us, and then stitches us together in a mission that's defined by our motto, worship of God through service to mankind. I look forward to working with President Lowry and the other institutions in the city so that we may amplify the impact we may have on the community because of the great missions that we serve. May we pray. O God, creator of all things, sustainer of all life, and the giver of all gifts, we are truly thankful for this gathering as we celebrate what is most important to you, relationships between humanity. The best expression of your love is the love we have for one another. We break bread together this morning in the spirit of love and thanksgiving for everything you have provided us. We are so grateful for the gifts of life, love, and learning. We acknowledge that all that we do, all that we have done, and all that we hope to do, it is, was, and will be by your grace and mercy. Bless us to be possessed by a true and calm courage that we may show grace and mercy to all, whomever and wherever they may be, and in all things be obedient to your will. O God, as we reflect upon the legacy of Mayor Karl and the vision you gave him to improve the safety, mobility, and health of Nashville, we pray that your grace and mercy will continue to follow him, and that his vision for a better Nashville will continue. These and all other blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
In just a moment, we will have a wonderful video that will take us back in 8 minutes through the last 8 years. But before we go to that video and reflect on the time of Mayor Dean's service, I want to take just a moment and take whatever privilege I have to recognize someone that I'm sure you would want to recognize as well. A generation ago, we would have said something like this: behind every great man is a great woman. That's kind of sexist and kind of trite and doesn't fit very well. And so I'd modify it and say that beside a great man is a great woman who has also served during the last 8 years. I don't know that any of us would ever have an understanding of what it's like to be married to a mayor, but I would guess there are times that she needed to console him, and times she needed to counsel him, and times she needed to calm him, and times she needed to encourage him, and she really didn't have any choice about it. He got elected, and she continued to live with him, and that was part of that life. But Ann Davis is really someone who, in addition to doing that work for all of us with him related to his service, has great passion herself. I had the opportunity a number of years ago to work with her on the Blue Ribbon Committee that the mayor set up for the environment, and saw her passion as she looked out into the environment and the livability of this city and the things that could be done to improve that. Great passion for 3 children that they have raised together, and great passion as a colleague in law. Someone who now works for the Southern Poverty Law Center and is one who takes on causes that may or may not be completely popular, but again, every single one of them has behind it a sense of passion that where we live and how we live is important. And so I just thought we would take a moment and we would recognize her this morning. And I know that you would want to do that. Not only for what she has been in this city supporting him, but just as profoundly for her career, her passion, and her service. And Davis, we thank you for being a part of this 8-year journey. And Ann, I understand that you're going to whisk him off to Italy sometime in the next few weeks, and that sounds like a wonderful thing to do. I thought about getting you 2 wine glasses to take with you, and then I thought, how does the Lipscomb president give out wine glasses? So I wasn't sure that that would work very well, and you might break them on the trip, but I understand you love to read. And so we have prepared for you a gift certificate from our local independent bookstore. And if I calculate this right, you can take 16 trips to that bookstore, buying a new book every single time over the next year or so. And when you do that, just know that we all so much appreciate what you've done. Jim Thomas will bring that gift to you, and hope you will feel like this community has great appreciation for all you have done and who you are. And now let's watch a video. Let's go back and review 8 years, and let's think about what life has brought to us, how we've participated in this story, and how the mayor has led us.
Over the last 8 years, Karl Dean has led Nashville on some wonderful adventures with lots of opportunities and challenges.
After he was elected in 2007, Mayor Karl Dean led the city of Nashville through the Great Recession and during flood recovery after the May 2010 flooding. He stuck to a few principles he held dear: helping each other, collaborating, investing in ourselves, and leaving the city better off than he found it. Throughout it all, he made great progress on his key priorities of creating new jobs, improving public safety, and making significant investments in public education.
I know when I was governor, we worked a lot on the education issues in the city, and he really had rolled his sleeves up and dug into them. He knew an awful lot about what was going on. I think he did a good job of identifying a few key issues that he thought would move the city forward, and putting the work in that it took to advance those issues. I really admire him.
Education, for me, trumps everything. He's had a vision of how we have to improve to ensure that our future is bright. And he's done a marvelous job at doing that. He has a strong legacy in that regard.
Thanks to the leadership that he provided during the fight against an English-only referendum in 2009 that we defeated thanks to a collaboration among business, faith, nonprofit, and individuals that came together in a beautiful collaboration for sending a message that Nashville was a welcoming community and not taking steps back.
I think he's going to be remembered as the mayor who got Nashville back on track with regard to transit. And I think what you're going to see is the next mayor starting from a great spot with a community that is understanding of the need for transit and involved and knowledgeable about the options.
Thanks to the welcoming atmosphere that Mayor Dean has helped create in Nashville, this is a place where entrepreneurs dream and see themselves buying a house and claiming their roots in a neighborhood, but also starting a business, a small restaurant, a small catering company that is part of what makes Nashville the vital community that it is.
The entrepreneurial ecosystem in Nashville is thriving and thriving well. We've all benefited from the growth, from the business, the economic development growth that's occurred. Today we have over 300 alumni who have started their businesses, and they've raised over $70 million.
From the beginning of his administration, Mayor Dean understood that a great economy and a great environment go together. Of the 140 bikeways in the city of Nashville, 90 of those have been added in the last 8 years. Sidewalks, we've constructed 56 miles. What he has done is approach the things that make Nashville a great place to live, to work, to play.
Over the years, he has raised awareness about quality of life issues, including healthy living. You could walk with the mayor, you could run with the mayor, but you could become a healthier Nashvilleian.
One of the things I really admired early on is when he came in, there were some pretty big decisions facing the city. We had a lot of stuff going on with the Predators and their tenure in the arena. The issue of the convention center had been kicked around for a long, long time and studied to death in Nashville, and nothing had ever happened. And I have to say, I mean, he settled down in both of those. He just worked through them and found some answers and made some decisions and moved on.
When you talk about collaboration, there's probably no greater example than Nashville's hospitality industry and Mayor Karl Dean.
We convinced the NCAA that Nashville should be the host city for the 2014 Women's Final Four.
Part of what is also needed is just the amenities that are in the city, and I think if it's the music or the sports or the outdoor activities that people just in general like to have, I think we've been able to continue to enhance that, and as a result, we're starting to see more and more talent coming into Nashville.
Can't say it enough. Smart collaboration
creates bold opportunities.
Colaboraciones innovadoras crean grandes oportunidades.
Smart
collaboration
creates bold opportunities.
They tell me that you got more of these than I did, maybe more of these than any mayor ever. But I'm satisfied you deserved each and every pair. That said, you likely want to take a pair with you here today, because you just never know when you're going to have to cut a ribbon.
I think Karl's been a terrific mayor, and whoever follows him is going to have some awfully big shoes to fill.
I honestly believe that Mayor Dean has changed the face of Davidson County.
He has been an outstanding mayor, the ideal mayor for this time in our history.
Mayor Dean, thanks to you, Nashville is recognized as a bright spot in the nation for being a welcoming and inclusive community.
He has led initiatives that have made our city better for seniors, for college students, and for the youngest babies among us. He has been a tremendous leader, and the next mayor has a tough act to follow.
Well, good morning. An 8-minute video to celebrate 8 great years. And I love particularly that last shot in the video where it showed the mayor standing up there on the roof of the convention center where you'd never expect to find grass, and demonstrating that sustainability and economic development can work together, and that's what he did so well, is he brought that chemistry together. My name is Ralph Schultz. I'm CEO of the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce, and I want to thank Randy and the organizers of this event for the great opportunity that we have here to celebrate and savor the leadership of Karl Dean. All of our mayors, but especially the mayor of Nashville, as the leader of Middle Tennessee's largest community, have leadership roles that are somewhat unique. It's the mayor of Nashville's role to deal with hundreds of issues on a daily basis, from getting potholes filled to making sure our parks are clean and usable and our streets are safe. But Nashville's mayor also has a larger part to play in outlining a vision for what type of community we want to be, painting a picture for all of us as a desirable city that we want to live in, and a city that will continue to attract new residents. It's important for us to have a mayor who is capable of communicating that vision and uniting all of us, or at least most of us, behind a path toward a more vibrant Nashville. So 8 years ago, Karl Dean was elected mayor in 2007. Now that's a lifetime for a third grader. Think about it. A third grader doesn't know why Karl Dean won't be mayor again next year. For a freshman in high school, when Karl Dean was elected, they are coming back to Nashville or staying in Nashville and now finding a job that Karl Dean helped create. 8 years is a long time, but it's also a short time. We had a sense of how he might fit in that role, but if we're honest with ourselves, we didn't really know how he'd perform in office. His vision was articulated during his campaign, and it continued to be his focus during his administration. He was clear from the beginning: education, public safety, economic development. He drilled those things over and over into those who were listening, and the sense was that if we focused on these basic priorities, good things would happen for Nashville, and he was right. Just 4 months after taking office, Mayor Dean announced a technology company from San Francisco called ServiceSource would be opening up near the airport with 20 new employees. Today, that same company, ServiceSource, occupies 8 floors of a downtown office tower with 850 employees, and they're not finished growing. When a handful of political leaders and their supporters tried to restrict Metro from doing business in any other language than English in 2009, Mayor Dean stepped up and said, "That's not who we are." And he united us behind the vision of a Nashville that was welcoming and which found strength in its diversity. For the Nashville Chamber, we understand the importance of building a good relationship with the mayor of our city, no matter who that mayor is. What we discovered when Mayor Dean took office is that we'd be working with a mayor who understood the importance of helping the business community grow and recruiting new companies to join it. He said it would be a priority for his administration, and he made good on his word by devoting his own time and energy to the task, and providing the resources of the mayor's office to that effort as well. The Chamber invited him to co-chair the Partnership 2020 economic development effort, and he took on that role actively, signaling to the business community the importance he placed on economic development. It was the classic example of smart collaboration creating bold opportunities. Growth in business during his administration bears that out. 380 business expansion or relocation projects during his administration. 32,000 new jobs. $3.6 billion in additional capital investment, and 13.8 billion square feet of new office or industrial space leased during his 2 terms. Karl Dean didn't have the wind at his back during his 2 terms. He took the oath of office just before the largest recession in our nation's history in the last half century. Some in the public arena said, it's time to retrench, it's time to pull in our horns, and Karl Dean said, there'll never be a better time to be bold, to push Nashville's economy forward. That led in 2010 to the creation of the Music City Center, paid for entirely by revenues from a tourism industry that was seeing explosive growth. When visitors came to Nashville, they were amazed to see something here that they weren't seeing in their hometowns: cranes on the downtown skyline. The MCC spurred an explosion in hotel construction that drove renewed investment in downtown. He started using the line in his speech so often that his audiences could complete the sentence for him: Nashville's best days are still ahead. Many of us weren't quite sure if we believed that line when Mother Nature dumped 13.5 inches of rain on Nashville in a 36-hour period in May of 2010, flooding 11,000 private properties, displacing 10,000 people, and immersing much of downtown in overflow from the Cumberland River. The flood that saddled our city with more than $2 billion in property losses, and by the way, that's equal to a full year of GDP growth in this region. The flood that saddled our city with $2 billion in property losses kept our mayor telling us Nashville's days are still ahead. I'm not sure how many of us actually believed him, but Mayor Dean showed us how well we were doing in the midst of adversity. He praised us for taking care of our neighbors and putting politics on hold. He praised city workers for responding above and beyond the call of duty. And he kept reminding us of the phrase that still remains in the murals painted on walls around the city: we are Nashville. 6 weeks after the flood, we welcomed the world to our city for a successful CMA Music Festival. Think about how different our city would be if we'd taken a different path. There would be no Music City Center. There would be no First Tennessee baseball park. There would be no revitalized riverfront with unique places like the Bridge Building, Cumberland Park, and Ascend Amphitheater. No Middle Tennessee Mayor's Caucus to provide a forum for fixing our problems that will require regional solutions. No renewed energy places like Antioch, where a repurposed Hickory Hollow area is creating a range of new public spaces for Nashville's newest citizens and generating so much energy that Community Health Systems chose Antioch to locate a new $66 million shared services center with 1,500 new employees. Karl Dean, as mayor, has left his stamp on this city. Not bad for a Red Sox fan. So, Mayor Dean, on behalf of all of us at the Chamber and the business community, let us express our appreciation for your leadership and our affection for your friendship. And we hope that you'll really savor this day, because it is not often that a Belmont professor is welcomed so warmly at Lipscomb.
Good morning. I'm Milton Johnson, Chairman and CEO at HCA. And Ralph, you got the Belmont name out there before I could. As a Belmont grad and a member of the Board of Trustees, it's an honor, Dr. Lowry, for me to be here. And thank you for inviting me to be here to speak this morning at Lipscomb. Now, I'd like to reinforce what Ralph has said this morning, to commend Mayor Dean for his stewardship in making Nashville a leading destination for business opportunity. And as a native Nashvilleian, I've seen this city's tremendous expansion over the years, but in no time has it flourished more than under Karl's leadership. And as someone who grew up in Nashville, I appreciate his thoughtfulness, visionary approach, which has helped us maintain a friendly and supportive culture, even as he has positioned Nashville for steady and sustained growth. Karl, you've managed to maintain a balance between open and welcoming environment that creates inviting opportunities for new business and individuals to relocate here. But it also encourages us to be contributing citizens and to do our part for the most vulnerable in our community. We at HCA, which has a proud nearly 50-year history in Nashville, we've been very pleased to have the opportunity to work with Mayor Dean on a number of significant projects, which are helping to transform Nashville and will serve as catalyst for continued economic growth. HCA's collaboration with Mayor Dean's office on the new Lentz Health Center has provided a better, more accessible public health facility for the citizens of Nashville. Our collaboration on the opening of the 20th Avenue Connector, completed in 2012, helped to connect the Charlotte Avenue neighborhoods that previously had been closed off from this end of the city by corporate expansion. Together, we opened that corridor with a road that bisects HCA's corporate campus and brings us closer together as neighbors. Both the Connector project and the new Lentz Health Center are vital components of the impressive revitalization of the Charlotte Avenue corridor that's currently underway. And both projects are generating new economic development opportunities that will help the city for years to come. Most recently, I personally have been very happy to co-chair the Chamber's Partnership 2020 with Karl to continue the effort to grow Nashville's thriving business population. Karl, it's been a pleasure to work with you on this wonderful initiative. But perhaps the most significant economic development projects during Mayor Dean's tenure, and one on which HCA has been proud to collaborate, has been the Capitol View project. Last year, HCA broke ground on a new headquarters for Sarah Cannon and Parallon at the Capitol View site in North Gulch. Both Parallon, which offers healthcare providers a range of business and operational services, and Sarah Cannon, a worldwide leader in oncology research and cancer care, soon will be in need of space to accommodate their growing operations, and they will both find a comfortable home at Capitol View. Our 11-acre Capitol View site is expected to be completed in 2016. It will allow for future growth at these two companies that anchors the development that will complement the field of the Gulch while accommodating well-planned, flexible expansion. The site will feature a 16-story and other built tower and other structures with a total of more than 500,000 square feet of office space and about 30,000 square feet of retail space, a parking garage, and some surface parking. It is also expected to spur growth on the larger 32-acre Capitol View site. These are headquarters that could have been located anywhere in the country, but we chose to put them here in Nashville. This $200 million project will bring approximately 2,000 jobs to Davidson County during the next several years, providing once again that Karl has maintained workforce development opportunities as a top priority for Nashville. I want to thank Mayor Dean for his support for our expansion in Davidson County. We believe it will promote the beginning of significant growth and development in the North Gulch site. In closing, I want to say that this level of commitment under leadership of Mayor Dean to foster a business-friendly climate while maintaining close hand on those development efforts that serve to benefit the quality of life for all of our citizens, which makes Nashville an attractive destination for so many companies. Karl, as Chairman and CEO of HCA, I thank you for your efforts to support a business-friendly environment in Nashville. And as a native son, I'm grateful that your vision to grow the city has not stifled its personality as a friendly, warm, and welcoming community. Thank you, Karl.
Good morning. I'm Gary Garfield, and I sell tires for a living, so if anyone's in the market. Let's do a little audience participation. So if you did not vote for Mayor Dean in the last election, raise your hand. Pretty good, Mayor. Okay, now, if the mayor could run again, and if he was, who would vote for him? Raise your hand. That's pretty good. Not many politicians can talk about that kind of support. On a serious note, I would like to thank Lipscomb University, the Nashville Business Journal, and the mayor for inviting me to be here today to participate in honoring Mayor Dean for his great leadership and his many contributions to Metro Nashville. People define leadership in many different ways. One of our country's early presidents defined it this way: if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, be more, you are a leader. And I think this definition of leadership fits very, very nicely with Mayor Dean and his tenure leading this city over the last 8 years. His vision and hard work have forever changed our concept of our city and what this city can be. Under his leadership, we have become the IT city. We are thriving, we are growing, we are welcoming new people to Nashville every day. And without a doubt, he leaves office with Nashville being a better place than it was when he first assumed office. The mayor has been very supportive of a number of different sectors of Nashville, and those have been talked about: education, security, safety, businesses. And in that context, Bridgestone has had the opportunity to work with the mayor and his office on many different occasions, but there are two occasions I'd like to really speak about this morning. The first was back in November of 2009. The mayor had been in office for about 2 years. And some of you may remember the Semay Center. The Semay Center, now the Bridgestone Arena, Semay defaulted on its naming rights obligations, failed to pay what it was obligated to pay under its contract, and went into bankruptcy. And at stake was the viability of the arena and whether the Predators would stay in Nashville. And to make a long story short, due in large part to Mayor Dean's leadership, Bridgestone took over the naming rights of the arena. And today it is the #2 arena in ticket sales in the country. #2 in the country. And it is the place that our Predators call Smashville. More recently, about a year ago, Bridgestone had another opportunity to work very, very closely with the mayor and his office. And this time it wasn't about whether the Predators would stay in Nashville, it was whether Bridgestone would stay in Nashville. As most of you know, we decided we would. We are building a new building downtown, and in 2017, we will occupy that building and we'll move 600 jobs, high-paying jobs from out of state to Nashville. But let there be no mistake. We could have moved to just about any city in the country. And I promise you, we were courted very, very aggressively by a number of cities in the country. But we chose Nashville. And the reason we chose Nashville was due in no small part to Mayor Dean. His collaboration with us throughout the process, his hard work, his leadership, his determination to make it workable for us to stay were huge factors in our ultimate decision. But another part of the decision was because we want to be a part of the community that Mayor Dean has helped build. A community where business can grow, where entrepreneurs who want to settle can settle, and where there's a great quality of life. At the same time, the Nashville that Mayor Dean has helped build is a vibrant, energetic, alive city, but it's also close-knit. At the same time, it's unusually welcoming of others. It's supportive. It's a community where people have hope, where people are friendly, and where people care about each other. Not many cities can say all of that, but Nashville can, in large part to Mayor Dean's leadership. One of Mayor Dean's legacies will be that culture that I've described. Another will be the Nashville skyline, as he has helped energize development in downtown. We're very proud that we are a part of that with the Bridgestone Arena and with our building that we will occupy in 2017. And it's only fitting that when we have the ribbon cutting ceremony for that, Mayor, I formally invite you to please participate in it front and center, because that's where you should be. So on behalf of everyone at Bridgestone Americas, we're very proud to call Nashville our home. We offer a sincere thank you and our enduring friendship to you, Mr. Mayor, and our deepest gratitude to you, to Ann, for the sacrifices both of you made over the last 8 years. And thank you so much for a job very, very well done. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Steve Turner, and it's a great honor to be here this morning to pay tribute to Mayor Karl Dean. Over the past 8 years, we have seen incredible growth in our great city, and there's no doubt it has been Mayor Dean's vision and leadership that have helped bring much of this progress about. Some of the most important dimensions of the growth and what puts Nashville on all of the, quote, It City list are right in our downtown. I've lived downtown throughout this period, and I have witnessed the rebirth of our city's core firsthand. And without Mayor Dean's vision and smart collaboration between the public and private sectors, we would not be where we are today. I have personally been involved in two major examples of that vision and leadership: in the expansion of the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, and how the Gulch has come about. 6 years ago, Mayor Dean went to the Downtown Rotary Club, and he articulated a vision for a unified campus incorporating the forthcoming Music City Center and the Country Music Hall of Fame Museum, and together with a new hotel. All of this was forming a campus like no other in the world, and this began to take shape. Now there were some real obstacles, namely some $20 million plus of debt that we were carrying at the museum. Also at that point, we were unable to expand because we were literally landlocked. Metro government controlled the land we needed. They also had some capacity for funding. The Omni Hotel people had a lot of money. They were a debt-free company with an owner that has plenty of money. The Country Music Foundation, which I chair, had all of the debt. But we also had this magic ingredient of being owner of the Country Music Treasury, the repository of all the significant country music artifacts and the magic that collection represents. An asset that is unique in the world. The breakthrough came when Karl Dean realized how critical that asset would be to the success of the new Music City Center campus that he had envisioned for downtown. He said, "There are lots of convention centers in our country and lots of convention hotels, but none of them has what we have, the linchpin of tourism called the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, which has nearly 1 million visitors each year now." I'd suggest to you the success that we've had in the renewal of our central city has also been a function of mental attitude, of visionary thinking that sees the opportunity in public and private partnerships that benefit everyone. What we see today when we look at the magnificent campus of the Music City Center, Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, and the Omni Hotel would not have been possible without the vision of our mayor, Karl Dean. The Gulch has been another example of Mayor Dean's visionary commitment to make Nashville a greener and healthier place to live. If not for his leadership and progressive thinking, we might not have the first LEED Silver certified neighborhood in the South, right here in downtown Nashville. The vision for the Gulch began nearly 20 years ago with an idea that we could take an economically depressed area with inadequate infrastructure and bring it to life as an urban neighborhood. Mayor Dean saw that opportunity in that vision from day one in office, when many thought we were crazy, and there were many, and most ran from the idea of creating a vibrant neighborhood near downtown. He marched toward it with great confidence. Now we have over 3,000 residents and 70 businesses that call the Gulch home. The "It City" term gets thrown around a lot, but Mayor Dean has always been more interested in growth that could be sustained. Making sure everyone has skin in the game has been key, and the collaboration that has occurred as a result has truly been incredible. Thank you, Mayor Dean, for providing our city with opportunities it would not have known if it were not for you and for your vision. Thank you.
I once worked for someone who said the same thing to many people he met. He said, "You're doing more good than you can possibly know." I was really impressed with that until I saw him use that with people he'd never met before. And it took a little bit away from it, but I think in this moment, with these testimonies and your tribute, the reality is this mayor has done more good than even this will represent and he will ever know. For 8 years, I've had the privilege occasionally to introduce him to this campus. I can't think of a moment I'm more proud to do it for the last time. Would you please welcome the mayor of our city, Karl Dean.
Thank you. Oh. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank Randy for the introduction and thank him for all his leadership here at Lipscomb and all the work that Lipscomb does to make this a better city. Our partnership with Lipscomb has been one of the best things that I think that we've worked on since I've been in office. And Randy, I also want to say thank you for your kind words about Ann. I would have said them if given the chance. So, but I'm glad you recognize, and as you all do, how important Ann has been to everything that I've done, and certainly I can't imagine this journey without her. So thank you, Ann, for all you've done. Gary, the investment you and your team at Bridgestone Americas are making here is tremendous. You could have gone anywhere in the country when you started outgrowing your headquarters, but you chose to stay in Nashville, and you chose to bring 600 new jobs here too, and I thank you for that, and I thank you for your kind words. I also want to say thank you to Milton for everything that he and HCA are doing throughout our city. HCA has made a huge investment in the North Gulch and in Antioch. And now it's moving other jobs from other parts of the state to Old Hickory Boulevard and hundreds more to Dell's old space in the southeastern Davidson County. So thank you, Milton, and thank you, HCA. HCA and Bridgestone are two of Nashville's greatest corporate citizens, and the confidence they've both shown in our city is very flattering. It's also clear evidence that Nashville is on the right track. Speaking of confidence, Steve Turner showed his confidence a long time ago when he and his business partners looked at the Gulch, an area full of old industrial sites and warehouses, and saw the potential for something better, a thriving mixed-use neighborhood. And he succeeded. Thank you, Steve, for your vision. And finally, I want to thank Ralph for everything he does to make sure people know that our city and our region are great places to live and to work. Ralph has been a steady hand at the Chamber for a long time, and we're lucky to have him in that position. And we're lucky to have a Chamber that gets it, that the #1 priority for our Chamber of Commerce is education. That speaks more highly of that organization than anything else, and they will have had a tremendous role in our city's prosperity. Thank you all for this honor. I want to be very clear, as I'm sure you know, this is not something I've done on my own. Obviously, the theme of today's breakfast is smart collaboration creates bold opportunities, and that's very fitting, because it's collaboration and teamwork that got Nashville where it is today. And collaboration will be absolutely critical to making this an even better city in the future. Partnerships between our government, our business community, and our nonprofit sector have given our city all kinds of opportunities. The city, the Omni Hotels, the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum collaborated to create one of the most unique convention center campuses anywhere in the country. The Hall of Fame is expecting 1 million visitors this year. More hotels are coming in, and now Gary and Bridgestone Americas are building their new headquarters just a block from the campus on Demumbrian Street. As Butch said in the video, the city and the hospitality industry have been great partners, and Nashville has never been hotter as a place for people to visit. That's great news for sales tax revenue that helped us do many things that we need to do. Collaboration has also been key at the old Hickory Hollow Mall site. The city helped Nashville State Community College build a second campus there, and then we built a library, a community center, and a park, and we work with the Nashville Predators on the Ford Ice Center. So now, where we used to have a declining mall in Antioch, we have students going to college, we have families checking out books, exercising, and playing in a park. And this is the coolest part. We now have an Olympic gold medal winner, Scott Hamilton, teaching kids how to skate. With the Music City Center campus, with the work in Antioch, with our beautiful new ballpark linking downtown with Germantown and Salemtown, and with the transformation of the Gulch, where Milton and HCA are now building a tower for 2,000 employees, we've shown that if the city has the confidence to invest in itself, private investment will follow. We've also worked with groups like the Land Trust for Tennessee to preserve acres of open space. Keeping these areas green will add to the quality of life that makes Nashville special, and that will give companies yet another reason to invest in our city. Jeannie Nelson of the Land Trust is here today. Thank you, Jeannie, for all you do to protect Nashville's environment. The city has created a new park and a new amphitheater along the downtown riverfront. Riverfront Park and Ascend Amphitheater will open Thursday, bringing together 3 of my favorite things: parks, music, and the river. Metro Parks and Live Nation have worked together to create a beautiful new area that should be a hit for a long, long time. But probably my favorite collaboration of all from the past 8 years is one that created Limitless Libraries. About 6 years ago, we asked Metro Schools and Nashville Public Library to break out of their silos and come together in a way that would enhance what our school libraries could offer our students. They absolutely hit it out of the park. As a result of that collaboration, students can now go to their school library, request books or DVDs or other items in our public library's catalog, and have them delivered to the school library within a few days. There are a lot of things we've accomplished over the years, but that's the one that tends to make me smile the most. I want to thank Ron Corbin, who's here today, for his words about the work we've done in education. Ron is absolutely right about the priority that education has to be for our city. It's collaborations like Limitless Libraries that have to keep happening so we can continue to create and take advantage of the right opportunities. Nashville has enjoyed a lot of great headlines and rankings and other accolades in recent years. We've been called the It City, the South's Red Hot Town, and much more. The work that earned all that praise began well before I took office. Nashville has been fortunate to have excellent forward-thinking mayors such as Bill Purcell, who is with us today, and Phil Bredesen, who you heard on the video, each of them put their own unique stamp on our city. To me, one of the most rewarding honors for the city is that we're now recognized by people from all across the country, from President Obama on down, as one of the cities that has done the most to make immigrants feel welcome, to make them feel this is a place where they can pursue the American dream. And many of those immigrants are pursuing their dreams by starting businesses and making an impact on our economy. When we defeated the proposed English-only charter amendment 6 years ago, we sent a message about who we are as a community, and we've never retreated from that message of openness and inclusion. The more diverse we are, the better we are. But we can't rest on our laurels as a city. We have to keep pushing forward. We can't take our eye off the 3 pitches we have to hit every day: education, public safety, and economic development. Chief Anderson is here with us today, and I want to thank him and all of his co-workers for all they do to keep our city safe. I've said it in my first campaign, and I will say it again today: it is all connected. Children who feel safe will be able to learn, and when they grow up, they'll be law-abiding citizens who do their part for Nashville's economy. And companies that see a community keeping its citizens safe and preparing its young people for jobs will want to do business here, which will keep more people employed and out of trouble. These things will always be true, and we can never stop working to make them happen in all parts of the city. Fortunately, we're playing a strong hand. Nashville is strategically positioned for economic growth now and well into the future. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Nashville region was the #1 market in the entire country for the percentage of job growth in 2012. We were #2 in 2013 and #8 in 2014. In some ways, that #8 ranking is the most impressive. As business owners, you know how hard it is to maintain market-leading percentage gains year after year. But we have the perfect equation on our side: affordability plus high quality of life plus a talented workforce. The cost of living in Nashville is about 12% below the national average. There are more than 110,000 students at Lipscomb and other colleges and universities across the city, and more of the graduates of these schools are choosing to stay here because of the wonderful quality of life we have. We need to build on those strengths. We need to keep pursuing economic development, recruiting jobs, and smartly growing the economic base of our city. I have been unapologetically pro-business, and I believe there is no government program like a job. There is nothing that can match steady employment when it comes to creating opportunity. I believe we've accomplished a lot together over the past 8 years. I have never had a better, more satisfying, more rewarding, more fun job, and I want to thank you and the rest of the voters of this city for giving me this great honor, this opportunity to serve. My time in office is winding down, but I know this city won't stop pressing ahead. Nashville's time is now. We just have to seize it, believe it, and have the confidence to keep investing in ourselves. Thank you.
Have a seat for just a minute. Mayor Dean, you inspire us, you challenge us, you lead us, and you're a constant reminder that Nashville's best days are still to come. As we as the Nashville community prepare for this leadership transition that is about to take place, the temptation is to wait for the next mayor, to wait for the new members of the Metro Council, to wait for the next director of schools. However, the reality is that there are a lot of challenges and there are a lot of opportunities in this town that don't require us to wait, but require us to act. as we think about some of the challenges and opportunities that we have the opportunity to influence, recognize that many of those don't need a broad policy, many of those don't need a big program. They simply need a community of people who passionately care about this city to act. Earlier this summer, I was at a church in Southern California. It was a church that met in a movie theater. It wasn't a real big church, it wasn't a real elaborate church. And yet, as part of the service, the pastor called up a principal of a local elementary school. As she came forward, they played a video that showed the work that 50 volunteers from this church did over the course of a weekend at this particular elementary school. As they tallied up the total value of that work, what they determined was that those 50 people did over $100,000 of capital improvements over the course of one weekend. And what was so remarkable about that was when the principal was thanking the church for their work, what she said was this. She said, you know, these changes and these improvements that you all have made here, she says, I can't tell you how many years I've put in the capital improvement request, only to have it denied time and time again. And she said, because you've decided that it's unacceptable to make these kids wait for a transformed learning environment, and you decided to act. When my kids come to school this fall, they will have a completely new school and completely new opportunities to learn and to grow. Sometimes it's not the time to wait, it's the time to act. And so we leave with the words that come from that South African proverb, we are the people that we've been waiting for. And Mayor Dean, we hear your call that Nashville days, their best days, are still ahead. We will see you again on September 2nd, when we will have Milton Johnson, the CEO of HCA, back here for the next Nashville Business Breakfast. Godspeed, and we'll see you then. Thank you for being here.